is the future. Riri, you can actually help people.
I know.
So, where's your arc reactor? That's like...
You know, they don't exactly hand those out.
Y'all calling me crazy when I've been balling all day like Brady.
When I got back from Wakanda, I felt stuck. To bring my ideas to life, I need cash.
Crazy, gotta go crazy.
Come work for me.
I assume these jobs aren't exactly legal.
Not exactly. So do you in or out?
We Ocean's 11 or The Sopranos.
What's the difference?
What would you say if someone were to create AI using brain scanning technology? Oh my God.
I'm literally perfection.
I would say only an idiot with a death wish would try that.
Cool.
Riri, you created something great. We're gonna need it.
No.
Now, you are just in my way.
It's Hood. It's from another dimension. If I'm gonna protect us, I need to start thinking outside the box. I think I have to fight magic with magic. Wait, what?
Might be a hero in there after all.
I'm in. Hey, girl. Oh, my bad.
You know, genius doesn't need any money at all to be great, Riri. Mathematicians create amazing theories and algorithms on a laptop or, failing that, on chalkboards or pads of paper. You can't keep genius down, Riri. It is its own justification and reward. But see, this is a woke show. And if the woke excel at one thing, it's making excuses for their failures in life, their lack of achievements. They're kept down by racism, kept down by sexism, kept down because they don't have money, kept down because of microaggressions, kept down because of shit that happened hundreds of years ago to somebody else who looks kind of like them. On and on and on. Whine. So,
hey, where the bitches at? It's supposed to be titties. Where the fucking titties and the bitches?
this is a woke show. And if the woke excel at one thing, it's making excuses for their failures in life, their lack of achievements. They're kept down by racism, kept down by sexism, kept down because they don't have money, kept down because of microaggressions, kept down because of shit that happened hundreds of years ago to somebody else who looks kind of like them. On and on and on. Whine. So,
well, Chris, before I start my Alan's Corner, I have a question for you. Sure. What was your impression of the Asian character in Ironheart?
69.
Which one are you talking about?
There wasn't one, motherfucker! There's not a single Asian in this movie. There are no slanty-eyed Asians. There's not even a Indian brown-skinned Asian in this movie. There's not a single goddamn Asian in this television show. Which brings me to the fact that, again, I'll say it over and over and over again. Diversity means black. Diversity doesn't mean anything else. And for this show to proclaim that it's diverse, that it upholds DEI values, you would think there'd be at least one Asian, maybe even in the background. But no, not here. Look, throughout, here, we got to make this bigger. Throughout the series of Ironheart, Riri always talks about feeling small. Well, Riri Williams, let me tell you this. You don't know small when you're non-existent. Because, again, there are no Asians in this show. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't care that there are no Asians in this show. In fact, I think if anything, it's the smartest thing Asians could do is not be in this show because it's so bad. But but it's not the fact that they're not there that gets me. It's the hypocrisy of it. It's this idea that, oh, we're diverse, we're not white. You know, there are white people in the show, white adjacent. Well, at least you got white people in the show. There's still no Asians in this show.
Wait,
It's
so
the
there's
hypocrisy.
no Chinese,
No Chinese, no Korean, no Filipino, no nothing.
no
There's not a
Japanese.
single one. Oh, and by the way, you could maybe I missed it. Maybe you're gonna watch all 6 episodes and say, hey, what about that guy in the background doing the laundry? Great, I missed it, which shows you how important Asians are to the show. How for Black creators who want to create diversity, who want to be seen, decide to eliminate an entire race of people from their television show.
Gosh, something wrong here.
You know, uh, I hate weighing in on this subject matter and shit. Okay, I'm the Geek Underground, by the way. My channel was originally going to be a movie review and TV and pop culture and other bullshit. You know, not what it actually became or what it is today. I'm not ashamed of that, right? But I can't forget, you know, the original purpose of the channel. Shit, I can't forget it. There's a reason I named the channel that. But you know, here we are today, right? Here we are. And I'm gonna be talking about Ironheart, right? That's a Disney Plus mini series and shit. It's only 6 episodes. They're releasing 3. They released 3 as of this recording, and will release the final 3 the following week and shit. I have not watched this shit. Okay, I don't want to watch this shit. Okay, they plastered Ryan Coogler's name on it as an executive producer, and it's apparent that, you know, they just paid him whatever they paid him just to be able to slap his name on that bullshit. Okay, and I've long talked about how upset I've been that, you know, this you know, the representation of black people in film and shit when we don't own our own fucking image and shit. Okay, all right. And you know, I find fault with the sequel to Black Panther because there was no Black Panther in the movie and shit. Everything was all women and shit. They didn't really have a male military and shit except to be cannon fodder. Not gonna get into plot points and shit. But they introduced the character Riri Williams in the fucking sequel to Black Panther and shit. She didn't even look like the fucking Riri Williams is in the comic and shit. It was you know, Ryan Coogler, I think he's from Los Angeles, or he operates around Los Angeles, so they made her like one of those kind of female you will see in over there in, like, Crenshaw, you know, kind of like, you know, she presents kind of like masculine like a stud, but she might be straight, you know. He doesn't have the physical representation of Riri, even in the comic. I mean, in a stupid cartoon they made, right? Riri Williams was supposedly some tall, slender black woman with a humongous afro that she somehow managed to stuff into Tony Stark's armor and shit that she appropriated, or, you know, the knockoff that she made. And he eventually ended up being her online AI and shit, her chat GPT assistant. And in the show, though, you know, in this show, her artificial intelligence inside the armor is her deceased best friend, who's like a sassy girl boss. Okay, so, you know, right now I'm throwing up in my fucking mouth because I had to make a video about this, and the reason that I had to make a video about this is because of, you know, people's reaction to it and shit. I wanted to preface me talking about that with the fact that I do not support this iteration of the character. I don't like the character in comics. I don't think she should have been on film, you know. But I'm just tired of listening to, you know, people go hard in the paint on this shit. Okay, it's garbage, and I want to tell those people, all right, I want to tell those people that black people didn't make this fucking show. Okay, black fucking people didn't make this show. I'm not even gonna say liberals made this show. Like a gigantic motherfucking company, all right, that's been around for several decades, decided to put this shit out for public consumption, even though they would have been better taking a tax write-off and shit, okay? I want to preface to some of you asshole content creators out there, black people did not make this show. White people made this show. The black producers under it and the black directors, female directors, by the way, under it, are employed by white people, right? White people, right? I don't like this shit, okay? I don't like this fucking show. I don't want to review it. I want to look at clips of it to laugh at and shit because I think it's humorous given the events of Wakanda Forever that the plot line of this fucking, the plot line of this fucking miniseries is that, the title character, Riri Williams, Ironheart, is coerced into joining a criminal gang of youthful fuck-ups to get money to build herself increasingly sophisticated suits of armor. That's the impression I get from what I've read. All right, she joins them to get money to build more armor. So she's basically a fucking criminal. And there's that narrative shit that we're always involved in criminal activity. Right? I mean, a couple of decades ago, Italians started rebelling against their depiction as being mobsters and people of ill repute and everything and shit, low class. All right? And they largely scaled a lot of that back. But it is what it is. It's Hollywood tropes. We don't own our own fucking image since day one of Hollywood. Okay? When The Birth of a Nation featured black people as the villains in there, like the Avengers movie and shit. Like, black people were the Chitauri in that movie, and the Klan were the heroes in that first goddamn movie. Flash forward today and shit, I gotta look at it. A little short stud, fake stud bitch, in a suit of armor that doesn't even fit her. Well, now she's real short and slight, so the armor does, instead of just making armor to fit her goddamn body, she's actually standing on like lifts in the armor, just to look like, just to measure up to the status of Iron Man and shit physically. And Robert Downey Jr. is a short midget. They've been watching it for years, right? I'm a member of Generation X and shit. Got to put that out there. I'm just irritated. I'm irritated on two fronts that they made this shit, that they continue to denigrate the image of black people and shit, by abusing and perverting our image, and making it something that we are not in real life. A lot of us are not. It's a very small percentage and shit that you don't see because we're too busy to even lend our ears to this bullshit, much less our commentary on what I'm doing right now. All right? And I'm tired of this shit. I'm also tired of the people that are reviewing it and shit, and they don't realize that, it's such a, everything's red tape. A certain group, I won't say their name, that own a lot of shit. They've made it like a straw man's argument just to even try to talk about this shit on one end or the other shit. Okay, look, a lot of agents of chaos, they thrive in red tape and chaos. So they hide in that shit and throw rocks and hide their fucking hands. So I'm forced to comment on this shit. White people made this fucking show, not black people. Black people were employed to produce and direct the bullshit. Incompetent black people and shit, the ones that were involved, right? And one of the people that were involved, if you recall, she made that "Get Your Booty to the Polls," package for the Democratic Party and shit. They made a lot of black men say, "Fuck that, fuck the donkey ass, the jackass party," and go conservative, like straight up. And she got rewarded with, a job working for Disney on this show. All right. And that being said, some of you motherfuckers out there, all right, and I don't want to say no goddamn names. Some of you motherfuckers out there, y'all getting out of pocket, okay? All right? You don't understand black people and shit, okay? We're not asking you to understand black people and shit. You want to talk about this fucking show, you go do your due diligence. You can go to Wikipedia. You can go to Google. You can see who's responsible. All you have to do is highlight their name, put in the search engine. You will see what they fucking look like. They don't look like us. We don't run Disney. I used to have stock at Disney. I had to sell that shit to, survive. All right? I had to sell the shit. I had some hard times. Glad I sold that shit. Okay? It wouldn't be worth fuck all today. All right. Now some of y'all are some straight up fucking racists. All right, straight up racist. I get to hear the same shit that I hear from thinly veiled. I used to live in LA for like almost damn near 30 years, like 29 plus years and shit. You know, and I tell you, I prefer, my parents being from the pre-civil rights South and everything. I prefer an overt racist to a covert one. Okay, some of you call it liberal, and you guys use the talking points. You say you're a conservative, shit. And you did this talking about the meritocracy and how they're getting it from the mud and use these examples and you're doing something with radar because of that bullshit with the assholes from Wakanda Forever, the fake Atlanteans, and the fact that she has to work in Iron Man suit shit. She would be on the Stark and older white dude that presents as a private investigator and, moonlights as this shit. But you know how it is. You got to make everything. Why the fuck? They paid Robert Downey Jr. so much money to come back and shit. They couldn't pay him to do some voice work for an AI. All right? Couldn't pay him to do no voice work. They couldn't get Gwyneth Paltrow to show up with Jon Favreau to be a part of this shit. They couldn't fold her into the Iron Man banner. If they really were talking about this legacy bullshit, it's all bullshit. They just wanted to show with a black chick in it wearing some Iron Man shit. And, they shit it out. They diarrheaed the fuck out of it. And they should have left this thing on the shelf. Now that it's out, though, I got to listen to a bunch of people make, what I consider to be racist ass comments and shit. Hey, you keep that shit, you keep that shit to yourself. All right? You keep that shit to yourself. I don't want to fucking hear that talking about, earning it. And I really didn't appreciate the one motherfucker making that allusion to, chattel slavery. Everyone sucks ass. The actress is not an actress. She's just an employee. All right? Your people made these fucked up shows. Okay? You cannot blame my ethnic group for the shit that you watch on TV and shit. Okay? Get it together. All right? All right? We didn't even make that. We didn't make that in the MCU and shit. Okay? You guys are cool with that, right? You cool with that? Rudy has no presence. Then everybody realizes that there would have never been an Iron Man movie without Terrence Howard and shit. Who actually they were going to make a War Machine movie. All right, and they just wanted, Robert Downey Jr. was just going to cameo and shit. They became an Iron Man movie, and then he got X'd out of his shit. You don't ever talk about that, do you? All right, just like you don't talk about Wesley Snipes saving Marvel and shit with his fucking movie, which he'll go unnamed in this video. All right? A lot of y'all are straight up racist, okay? You're racist, okay? We don't need to hear what you think about black people and shit. It's subtly or otherwise, okay? Don't make allusions to our situation and shit, okay? We don't need to hear that. We already know what you think, all right? You don't understand shit. And it's not our job to explain to you how we experience shit, how we see it and shit. You don't tell other ethnic groups, you don't comment on how other ethnic groups see things and shit, but you feel the need to flap your gums about the black experience in this motherfucking country grown, right? You got a problem with your fucking pop culture sucking ass and shit. You take it up with the garbage peddlers that have been shoving this shit up your asses since the pandemic and shit, okay? You take it up with them. And you ain't gonna see no black faces in there, all right? Now, I'm done talking about this shit for now. Ironheart is a piece of shit. Okay, it's a fucking. They thought it was going to be a cash grab and shit. The reason that Riri Williams is here is because they think they can get black women to support the fucking show and watch it and shit, and get their numbers up and shit. There's some retarded young millennial fuck, that don't know shit about nothing. Probably whispered that shit into Victoria Alonso's ear and got to Kevin Feige and he don't give a fuck because he's huffing his own farts and shit. Okay, not realizing everything's on fire. All right, it doesn't excuse your shitty ass, commentary about things. Okay, just keep us out of it. Stop with this. We're tired of hearing this bullshit about, fucking meritocracy and all this bullshit. Okay, you want to make thinly veiled allusions to chattel slavery, then you keep going and admit the fact that your people came over here, couldn't even cut it, and died off damn near and shit, and had to be helped by Native, Indigenous Americans, who some of us look like us, you know, had to be helped over here. How did you repay them? You killed most of them off, almost made them extinct, and then you built on top of their shit. Okay, America's built on a fucking graveyard, bitches. Okay, we don't feel like we're entitled to shit. We want to be paid for our unpaid work and shit. And last I checked and shit, people still got money from, you know, dead relatives. The leftover money was just goes to the next person in line. Okay, the ancestor, or whatever. Okay, I'm just word salad and shit. I'm just so fucking tired of you guys trying to hide in pop culture and rhetoric and comics and shit. And I feel bad. I feel like Jack Kirby and a bunch of guys are just spinning around in their fucking graves, including Stan Lee and shit. Alright? It's all bullshit. Alright? You want better programming and shit, stop watching this bullshit and make your own, okay? You can use AI, motherfucker. You can make all the shit you want now, okay? Alright? I'm just calling you out and shit. You're fucking racist with this shit, okay? Alright, asshole?
If I'd known we were keeping score, I would have brought more ammunition.